Well, we are back here again. It's week 2, and there's not a lot of yous. But welcome back, everybody, to the new circuit that is the Circuit de Ledenon, and it is in, of course, Ledenon, France. And a very, very tight track today for us. A very clear sky with 9 kilometers an hour. Winds, track temperature 20 degrees, so very nice set of temps for the boys out there. More GT2s than GT1s, wouldn't you believe? I know, I couldn't believe it myself. The GT1 boys, where are you at? Where are you at? Though I do think it's because it's a new track and not a lot of people would have been used to it. But there you go. It's neither here nor there. Anyways, less of that. Let's get to qualifying now. We do have the returning favourites: John Olsen, Seth Whitaker, Ethan Bass, Yuri Geisen, Jem Matson, and of course our boy in the red and blue DBR9, Dan Muller. Yuko Leskala is back once again in his mean machine, doing a fantastic performance at the green held the last time out. Let's see what he can do as well. And we also have Robbie Swan, Nicholas Morelli, Ed Ray, and of course Guin. Tyler Guin, to be perfectly frank, and that is a nice looking livery out there. That is a very tasteful Vodafone livery. Now, this track, as poor Tyler bins it. Now, this track has a turn that's what's called triple gauche. He says he's an amateur on his car, by the way. Dan Muller is a seasoned veteran. I don't know why he has AM as part of his car. Also, it is also looking like he's got the Le Mans 24-hour colours on his car. Not sure why, but you know. Let's have a look. Dan Muller currently sitting on pole as he is putting in flying laps as of right now. Second lap already underway. Let's pick a number. Let's pick somebody who I've not looked at. Let's go with Seth. Let's see on with Seth. Let's see how he does. This is triple gauche here. A little right-hander to Virage du Pont. Taking it nice and deep. Out wide. Le Carrière As. La Comelle. It's a very nice track, actually, I will say. It's got a lot of elevation. Virage du Camion. Le Calavet. Then out towards a trip to a double left-hander again. In and out. La Servie. Then it's a right-hander coming out of La Servie. A little bit of a straight. Good opportunity to overtake here. Then into La Cuvette on over the hill. And across the line. Where does Seth land? He's currently second. He is now first in position. Well done to him. Well done, well done. Also, I do notice that his thing says Seth Whitaker iRacing staff. Is he actually staff? You'll have to confirm that for me. A hell of a lot of he's on the start-finish line there, as he just saw. Crossing the line goes Gwyn. Does he improve his time? He does, but it's still a 1:19.0. 4 seconds off the lead. A hell of a lot of heat haze on the track. Ethan Bass going around now in his pelote silver and red. Very dashing looking livery. They always do have the great liveries here for the boys. Ethan Bass crossing the line now. Does he improve on this time? He does not. So he's just putting in laps. Yuka Lescala still can improve though. Car number 1, GT1. The Flying Finn, as I'll call him. In his very mean looking black to green. Oh, he is staff. Oh, okay. Okay. So it is legit when he has on his car, we are staff. Well, he certainly got... Good evening, McClarridge. How are you? How are you? Welcome. Welcome indeed. Up through La Cavette. On towards the start finish line. And does he make an improvement? No, he doesn't. He is now just doing laps. Robbie Swan with his chopper livery. I'm loving how the liveries are just looking on these cars, by the way. I'm very tasteful. I love it. Does he make it through? Yes, he does. A little bit of a wobble out of La Cavette. And across the line. I remember Blancpain. Oh, and that's qualifying over and done with. Your, well, qualifying results as of right now. Going to be Dan Muller in first for the GT1s with a 1:14.5. Yuka Lescala with a 1:14.8. Morelli with a 1:15.6. And Rie with a 1:16.1 flat. Then it is Whittaker who just pounced everybody else in the lead for the GT2s. Swan in 5th. Olsen in 2nd for the GT2s. And then it's 6th final car for the GT1s. Yuri Geisen in 3rd. Matson in 4th. And then Ethan in 5th. Now there are 2 extras. Jeff Saunders didn't qualify. And Kyle Urbanik also didn't qualify. But they will show up on the back of the grid. 30 minutes of racing here for the boys. Going to be a good one. Yes, he is using his trained monkey banana paint. I can confirm that. He is using his he is using his trained banana monkey paint. If I can get a good angle on him. Let me see. Can I get a good angle on him? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Very dashing. Very dashing indeed. And he does have the right colours too. Like, very nice colours on that car. All lined up here for round 2. Getting ready for the start of the race. Pace car will head us off. I think this is just before La Servie. And off the pace car does head off. And we're cameras on the pace car as it leads it around. Very sweeping. The track map makes it look like this is a massive track. But then you actually look at it, it's like, no, maybe not. We're maybe not looking at a massive track. But we are looking at a pretty good little group here. 6 GT1s, 7 GT2s. And it'll be Dan Muller that'll lead them away. Coming up the hill now, holding it steady. Dan Muller will have the off. And off he goes. Just as they crest over the hill, it's going to be green flag racing here for round 2 of the GT Thrustmaster Challenge at Circuit de Ledenon. Coming on the inside. Already Yuka Lescala breaking away. Nicholas Morelli very timid on the acceleration, having to hold it as he comes in through to Gauche. The GT2s are also roaring away, with Jeff Saunders having to battle in the background against Kyle Urbanik. Nothing too crazy out here, fellas. Oh, there. Well, when I say too crazy, unfortunately, somebody didn't get the message. And I'd give you 3 guesses who didn't get the message. The camera is on him. Ethan. But he's back up and running. No harm at all. No harm at all. Yuka Lescala, as I would honestly rate him as probably the best, coming up to the second best of the races here. And the GT1s chasing down Dan Muller. It is the old age question. Who was better? Was it my DBR9? Or was it my Corvette CR6? Was it American muscle versus British engineering. Which one was it? I think we're going to find out. Going through now. Needing to keep it nice and tidy on the inside. Looks Leskala. Having to keep it nice and steady now. Otherwise, you'll run into the situation that so many people have done so before. Nice and steady. And off he goes. Out of a quite hairy spot coming down towards Virage. Cavalier. Oh, on the inside. Looks Leskala. A little bit of a look. But not too shabby. Nothing too shabby whatsoever at the moment. And it's just going to be very much Dan Muller and Leskala chopping at each other's heels. As is John Olsen chopping at the heels of poor Ethan Bass. I think that's Ethan Bass. It is. He went off again. Why is he showing... Oh, John Olsen also had an issue, unfortunately, at the moment. Another issue for him, and it is going to be a bit of a palaver trying to get back up and running. John Olsen trying to get onto the podium step, and Ethan Bass letting him by. Robbie Swan under threat from Ed Ray. Ed Ray making the inside pass on his way through, and let's actually give that a look. So this will be coming up the start-finish straight. Oh, way too wide, and just couldn't get the power down. Ran over onto the embankment and onto the curb, and just got absolutely swallowed up. Nothing he can really do. Way on the outside. Try and get it on the inside. Nope. Ed Ray stays fully ahead. Jeff Saunders now threatening Ethan Bass. Remember, Jeff Saunders started at the back, and it is going to be a bit of a braking game because, I mean, I don't know about you, but there's so many corners around this track, and there's not enough places to really pass, and with the GT2s, they are literal death traps. Whoever drives these for fun, I salute you, because I certainly wouldn't. I certainly would not. Through the right of Cavalier. Up through left again, and then left into La Savie. Lights coming on now, keeping it nice and steady. You have to in this car, otherwise what will happen is you will essentially run the rear rubber completely through the floor, and what will happen is you will then spin the car and not be able to recover. Unlike what Seth Whitaker is doing, where Seth is just completely dominating out there. Just look at him. It's like the car was made for him or something. Also, EcoBoost. EcoBoost. I don't think the original spec for GT2 had EcoBoost as part of it, but I'll let it slide. And I will rate your driving. I will grab the number and rate your driving. I didn't know this was the back of like a car or something, you know, where it's just like, oh yes, I'm here to rate my own driving. Can I rate my own driving? Can I? Yes. Let's rate my own driving. Oh, two similar liveried cars. Nicholas Morelli and Robbie Swan battling it down now. The back straight into turn one. That's going to be Nicholas Morelli. That's going to have such an advantage. And he does take it. He does perfectly execute it. Very well done. Now, what happened to poor Robbie Swan on the replay here? Again, way too wide. The same mistake that he made when he was battling with Ed Ray. Way too wide coming into La Cavette. Then couldn't get the power down because he hit the curbs and the rumble strips on the outside. And then, yeah, swallowed up. Has to play second fiddle. Hugo Leskala still threatening. He's still sat behind Dan Muller. Muller holding formation as he should. 0.6 of a second separate the two. As to come on down into La Cavette. A good shot there, giving you an idea of how really how much zigzagging you have to do normally in this car to just drive around the circuit. I'm surprised. 7 minutes in, and it's already just... You're just zigzagging a lot out there. Ethan Bass, another issue for him. Just... the poor man really doesn't have that much good luck in this car. Drive the GT1. This will be coming into, I think... no, it's not going to be into La Calave. It's going to be on the exit coming up towards La Servie that he does it. Yeah, just locked his brakes. Couldn't hold it together. And that is going to be, well, his car in the mirrors, unfortunately for Jem Matzan, sorry, and Jeff Saunders, who we all know from the Lotus 49 series. Robbie Swan's still threatening his, I'm going to say their teammates, because they run the same livery car. But I mean, there's not much you can really do apart from just sit glued to the absolute rear bumper, because with just how many corners there are, there's not that many overtaking opportunities beyond what you believe at this track. And the same mistake again that Robbie Swan made. Nicholas Morelli just gets caught out. And listen to that sound. Oh, that's glorious. I'd pay for that to be my ringtone. I would. Checking back in with Yuka Lescala. He's still not made any inroads against Dan Muller. He's got the slipstream, but he just does not have the same cornering power, I don't think, as the DBR9 does around the circuit. Did have a little bit of a squeeze around with the DBR9, and it felt very planted if you got the setup right. Well, I don't think that the CR6 or the C6R, sorry, really has it wound up too well around here, just simply because you have to be prepared for the fact that your big ol' B8 motor is gonna wind up weighing the front end down. Smoke on the inside, on his left front there for Luco Lescala. Does he try and make the move? He is threatening. He does not. It is a shame. It is a shame that he's not able to make the move. He looks very competitive, but I just don't think he's finding the right positions. And if he is finding the right positions, I mean, just not long enough to make a run for it. Yuri Geisen, by the way, as the sun blinds my eyes. Yuri Geisen through the last sets of corners onto Cavalier, or onto Cavette, sorry. Sorry, I'm mixing up my two corners. Onto La Cavette. Start finish straight. Lap 8 for the GT2s. Just gone by. Oh, old guys rule. According to the front end of John Olsen. I can't challenge that. I really can't. Yuri Geisen under threat. Going defensively on the inside. Having to look backwards in his mirrors quite a lot. This is what he would be seeing. Dove Men and Care being threatened by old boys. Yes, I'll stick with that. That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing. Now, unfortunately for this man, Mr. Dan Muller. Now he is in front, but I wouldn't be playing a replay if I didn't show him at his troublesome, because unfortunately a mistake coming into La Cavette slows him down just enough. He just then decides, Yuka Lescala has the inside. Let's just follow him, see what we can do. Diving through once again. Cavalier. Up and through into La Servie. I do think that the C6Rs just do plow a little bit more of that corner. versus the DBR9. The DBR9 just looks so much tighter in comparison. Though that is also, of course, if you don't lock up the front end while doing so. 1 second's the gap for the lead with just under 15 minutes gone of the race. Robbie Swan still chasing down Ed Ray. He has caught up some time. He caught 4/10 of a second on that last lap. Let's see if there's been any bigger difference. Another 4/10 as I just looked at it. Yuko Leskola, fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:15, and he's open to traffic. Oh, traffic playing a little bit guessing game there. That's going to be Jem Matzan. That's going to be the one that will push back Yuko Leskola and Dan Muller together by not much, though. Sorry, that's going to be not even a gap. Not even. It's probably going to even just keep the gap as it is. Jeepers creepers. That is one very fast car out of Yuko Leskola. No wonder he's chosen the series to race. Battle for third, the last podium finish. Robbie Swan with Ed Ray up the trumpet. That is a lot of... What is that? Is that fruit on the side of his car? I think that's fruit on the side of his car. It is fruit on the side of it. It's broccoli, banana, orange, and tomato on the side of Rob's car. Oh dearie me. Oh dearie me. Tyler Gwynn having problems. Probably spun it on that lap, as did Nicholas Morelli. Really not in the best mood in that car, having to keep it going. Main battle as of right now is the battle that you see on your screens between Robbie Swan and Ed Ray. Dan Muller is falling back at the rate of knots. That was another second that Yuko Leskola plucked out of him on that last lap alone. That is massive. Running wide goes Robbie Swan. Needs to keep it nice and steady. You can see as we ride on board his rear wing, looking forward. Ray does have raw pace, but he just seems to be, oh, I don't know, just a little bit uncomfortable in that car. You know, just, oh, a little bit of rotation. A little bit extra rotation that he might want, and he's just gotten past. I do actually want to see that. That one was completely bonkers. Let's have a look. Now, the blimp would actually be a very good view. Now, we're just looking at Ed Ray at the moment. He was coming into La Servie. Oh, the car's rear stepped back out, and Robbie Swan just said thank you for that one. Just went by. But I don't think Ed Ray will keep that sat down in his back pocket. I think he'll want to go, and I think he definitely will. Dan Muller has indeed responded. He only no, we'll say he only lost 7/10 of a second on that last lap. It's better than nothing. It's better than nothing. Leskola cutting through, commanding a very nice lead. I'll tell you this much. Even though I was saying it was Aston Martin versus Corvette, I really do think when you have such a good driver as Leskola, the man's a weapon in this car. He just absolutely runs it through and just says, I eat this car for breakfast, thank you very much. Looking through his helmet visor. 6,000 RPM, that's all you need in this car. Through, I think that is Carreras. Short shifting through Crumel. Down through Virage. Cavalet. Lap traffic up ahead, he'll have to keep care of that as he comes through the two left-handers. And then into La Servie. Right, then onto, oh, a little bit of a bump there, a little bit of a slide. cut away for a minute now. Poor Tyler. It's not been his day, has it? Let's have a look. Poor Tyler coming into the first corner to Triple Gauche. Oh, backs out, and the car just says, no, I will slide. Really having a tired day out there in that car. Really looking uncomfortable. Ed Ray, by the way, back into the running. Having to keep his car pointed straight. Looking at the back of Robbie Swan. Swan is the third place finisher at the moment, if everything stands as it is. But Ray is looking competitive. Just needs to keep his wits about him. Keep the laps coming, as we're kind of past the halfway point now. 25 laps have been spec'd for this race. And I see a Raidillon TV logo on the back of that car. Yes, indeed. Better be one on this one. Oh, there isn't. No. Also, I will say, Seth, this is... hang on, I need to look this up. Ford GT2. Images. Yeah, I don't think they had the EcoBoost on that. No, they do not have the EcoBoost on that car. I'd like to file a complaint. Where's my EcoBoost? Where's my GT3 Ford GT3? Where's that at? Not the old one, not the one that's really old. Just respect the one that's there already. I love how he just has "How's my driving" on the back. As if somebody would call. I'm tempted. If somebody were to race him in the middle of the race, just as a distraction tactic, ring the number. Robbie Swan and Ed Ray still battling it out. The Blank Pond GT Challenge pairing. By the way, it is GT Thrustmaster Challenge. They actually got sponsored just as week 13 was coming through, and it was actually notified to him, hey, Thrustmaster is doing something with the GT Challenge. It was originally the Fanatec GT Challenge, then the Huskenveld GT Challenge, and now it is the GT Thrustmaster Challenge. Shows you how much history we've had in those things in the last 3 years. Goodness me. Ed Ray coming through. Up through the hill to complete lap 15, moving on to 16 now. Looking at the back end of Robbie Swan as he dives in. It is getting very close out there between the two of them. Down into from Triple Gauche into Virage du Pont. And yes, you have to say it. You have to say it like that. It is French. Virage du Pont. On out then. Needs to keep himself nice and tidy. Camion. Cavalet. A little bit of a slide there from Ed Ray as he comes on out. Then into La Sylvie again. He's got the Michael Schumacher helmet on. I know I approve of that. But Michael Schumacher helmet will only give you plus 10 horsepower. It won't give you all of the horsepower that you could ever need in your life, and downforce to be able to do anything with it. By the way, I just want to point out something. The two leaders of the race, Luco Lescala and Seth Whittaker, are both stuck behind a lapped car, and that is Tyler Gwynn. Now, just as a reminder, yellow flags are optional for these guys. Oh, Seth doing the very smart thing. Just, I'm already way ahead of everybody else. Let me just back off a little bit. And I guarantee you, Lescala is going to be asking, "Get out of my way! Get out of my way!" Probably do it on the straight, just where it's nice and safe. Tyler really is struggling in that Vodafone car. Maybe the Vodafone bit wasn't going to isn't going to help him. Lots of heat haze on that track now. That track is heating up. On the inside goes Yuko Lescala. No dramas. Tyler Gwynn broke just before the corner came up and let the leader on by. I feel poor. Oh. Seth, that's the wall. Oh, that was way too close to the wall there, because you not only just gave me a heart attack, you've also done this to John Olsen, who's got the massive Raidillon TV logo on the top of his helmet. Very well done. But the most important thing is, he's got this problem. John Olsen with the... Oh, the flippin' tag is on it. But he is catching. And he's catching at a rate of knots. Could be that Seth gets pressurized, and that will be very, very tricky. Up through. John Olsen is doing his best, but just Seth is just so you know, planted out there at the moment. I mean, look at him. Wouldn't you trust him with your car keys? Wouldn't you trust Seth with your car keys? I trust Seth with my car keys. Unless he said it was an EcoBoost car, then I'd have some questions. Coming back to Ed Ray, battle for third, the most exciting aspect of the race right now. That is going to be our boy with the toys of fruit toys and a vegetable. Actually, two vegetables, two fruit, two vegetables out there, battling Robbie Swan on the inside. Keeping it nice and steady. Needs to not make any fuss about this, because if he does, what will happen is he'll get stuck, and he is getting stuck. This is really bad. Not the kind of stuff that you want to see. He's going to have good acceleration coming out of it. I just look at the elevation change that there is on this track. I'm very surprised of quite steep hills. A bit of a slide there from Ed Ray. And it costs him dearly. 1.6 seconds at one slide costs him. But just keep focused, and you still have this. Another mistake, unfortunately, costs him again. 5 minutes to go, though, so he still has a little bit of time to be able to make up. Robbie Swan has slowed down, and he can slow down again. He's going to take it gingerly, as is Dan Muller. By the way, 14.855 was that last lap for Lescala. I don't think he's gotten slower. I think he's gotten faster. I'm pretty sure he's just sending it at this point. Let's see if he sends it. Does he send it? Yes, he is sending it. I can confirm now he is sending it. And up he goes all the way through, right on through. John Olsen has 5 minutes and less than just less than 4 laps. So he have 3 laps when he crosses the line to make a move. Slips out of the... Ooh, that engine does not sound good. It's kind of funny how slow they would actually go. That's 224 kilometers an hour, or just about 130, 140 miles an hour. Oh no, about 120, 130 miles an hour. And then if you compare that to, you know, how they would go on something like Le Mans or like a normal circuit like Spa, definitely a lot of speed difference. It is a very tight track, though. I mean, I think I've only seen them use 2nd or 3rd gear through this back entrance, and only 4th when they're on the straight. And here, there we go, there's 4th. Down in 2nd. Nice and steady. All the way up and through. He sees the back of Seth's car, just so tantalizingly close. And you know, it's like being given the biggest tease in the world, and you know that it's right there. You know he's right there, and you can't get any closer. And you know that he sees you in the rearview mirror, which I'm hoping the camera will figure out. He does see him. The little lights are there, but you know, when you're just this close behind, you know, John Olsen has to be kicking himself, saying, "I really want to be there. I really want to get close as I can to him." Ed Ray crossing the line again. Robbie Swan is... did I miss something? Because I didn't think Robbie Swan was that far ahead, but Ed Ray has closed the gap just ever so slightly. This will probably be the race to the finish that we will see, because unless Seth Whitaker makes another mistake again, here he is coming up to his mistake corner. No, sorry, it was what corner was it? I can't even remember what corner it was, but he came up to it and I just ever so gently pushed the brakes a little bit too little, and then just had to have a heart and mouth moment. Now, John Olsen has indeed turned up the wake, caught right up to the back of him, and will get into he will get into slipstream range just about, but will that be enough? I do not think so, unless he's able to start putting on the brakes really, really hard, coming through the technical sections. It's the main thing right now. Just keep your foot planted all the way through, all the way through. Ed Ray has indeed caught up. He is 1.5 seconds behind and will have gladly a chance on the last lap at the very least, if he can just keep his grip up. He just needs to keep the grip up and the pressure up. And I guarantee you Robbie Swan will probably have to look over his left shoulder for the entire last lap, as this man, Yuko Leskala, does indeed take the white flag for the final lap of the 30-minute race. That went by super fast. Come on through. 8 seconds behind him, Dan Muller takes it, and 23 seconds behind them. This man is fighting for the podium life at the moment. Robbie Swan and Ed Ray battling it out. John Olsen will now be crossing the line for his final lap. He sees Seth Whitaker there in the front. In he goes, deep inside. Left, left, and left again. That's why they call the triple gauge. Oh, a little bit of a wobble there for John Olsen. Car not cooperating well. Ed Ray really is getting close now. Closed 0.5 of a second that last lap, and he has, well, if definitely when Robbie Swan makes mistakes like that where the rear steps out completely, and now it is game on for the final lap. This is going to be exciting. Coming through, that is going to be through La Carrière, down through right onto La Cormelle, but I have to take the cameras to this man. Dan Muller gets absolutely woken up to the fact that Yuko Leskala has indeed won here again. Second win out of 2. Very nicely done, on his way to really contending for the championship for the GT Challenge. And by the way, give it up for these two. John Olsen only 1 second behind Seth Whitaker, and Seth probably dancing in his seat right now. As will be John Olsen, to be fair now. Crossing the line, Ed Ray unfortunately didn't make it. Robbie Swan just pipped him to the post there. And as everybody else comes across the line, we will get a chance to get the results up on our screens. That is the final car Yuri Geisen, 3rd position in the GT2 class, coming home to take it all for himself. The race results then as they came in were, in 1st position was Yuko Leskala for the GT1s, Dan Muller in 2nd place, Robert Swan, in 3rd, with Ed Rie in 4th, Morelli in 5th, and then Tyler Gwynn was down the order, but he was in 6th in class. Then we have Seth Whitaker taking home a great win out of his back pocket, and he did very well from the Thursday strength of field split as well. John Olsen in 2nd place. Yuri Geisen in 3rd for GT2s. Jeff Saunders in 4th. 5th was Matt Zahn. 6th, Ethan Bass, who retired the car, as did Urbanik, also retiring the car. So what do we think about the new track for the boys in Ledenon toys? I think we're going to have a good old... Well, I think this track is very much a track of, well, here and there. It's very tight. It's very much a very, direct, transparent track, just going through the corners, especially through that last sector. You have so many corners. There's not really one big straight. The only big straight is the start-finish straight, and that's it. Nothing else matters at the moment. And I'm getting word that my cameras were clipping. We'll fix that, I swear. I swear. Though I do have one man. Where is he? Mr. John Olsen. Mr. John, good evening. I'm doing fantastic, my good sir. My good sir. How are we now? How is that car?
I wouldn't be happy if I wasn't driving a car that wasn't trying to kill me. So the Ford the Ford suits me perfectly.
Down to the ground, I see. Down to the ground. And now I do want to get your thoughts on the car. Now I've driven it once, and I said never again because I was trying not to die, essentially. But you were seemingly quite comfortable out there, and then you were trying to chase down Seth Whitaker, who, let's be honest, he was just ever so slightly planted and just loved that car. Obviously, I have to have a chat with him about his EcoBoost on the front of the car, but tell me about it. What do you like about it? What do you dislike about it?
No, I can't describe it. It's got a handling or a design flaw in that the thing kind of pogos around a little bit, and it shouldn't do that. iRacing's never gotten around to fixing it. But if you can get over that, for whatever reason, the style that I developed driving the Lotus 49 suits this car perfectly. I think it's the mid-engine. I really don't know, but I don't have to do a lot of practice. I can just hop in and be reasonably quick. I can't keep up with the fast guys. Seth is kind of nipping at the heels of those guys these days, but I can do pretty well in it with a minimal amount of effort. So it's a fun car. It's a great car to drive.
Well, that's not what that's different to what I hear before, because when I remember we broadcast this ages and ages ago, and everybody was saying it was a death trap, and I have several people that still say it's a death trap, but they say we love death traps, and
exactly.
More power to you.
Exactly. And somebody once told me when I started iRacing, I started in the Lotus 49. I mean, as soon as I was eligible, that's the car that I drove, and I stuck with that for a couple of years. Somebody told me, this is perfect. Get good at this, everything else is easy. And while this isn't easy, it's easier. It's probably the best way to put it. You want to talk about death traps, hop into a Lotus 49. I don't want to turn this into a Lotus 49 discussion, but that's really all I know.
Well, I'll accept that. I'll accept that at the very least. But next time out, next Thursday for our broadcast, will be at Imola. I am of the opinion, and that's going to be hectic. What are your thoughts?
It is. It's an interesting. This series is incredibly interesting because there's not that much of a difference between the GT1s and the GT2s, and so when you get a slower driver in a GT1, he's slower than the faster GT2s. That doesn't happen in prototypes and in Camel and things like that, and it's just. It's going to be crazy. I'm kind of assuming that's why Seth came back to me in the race today. I'm kind of assuming he ran into trouble with what we call a GT 1.5, which is a GT1 that's slower than a GT2 is considered a GT 1.5. But I expect to see that. Sadly, I'm going to miss Thursday. I'm going to be in California visiting my mother. So.
Oh well, say hello to the mother for us as.
We'll do so.
And before we let you go, do you like to say any thanks or any shout-outs?
Yeah, I just want to shout out to my lovely wife, Kim, who puts up with all these shenanigans. Thank you very much, dear. She'll be watching later.
And with a cup of coffee saying, John, why did you do that? Oh, John, I taught you better, John.
She knows better. Thanks, Robert.
Of course. Thanks for talking to us, John. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Take care. And that was John Olsen here with us in the booth. And I think that is all we wrote for this one. Perfectly acceptable to have, the wife clap you over the head for making a mistake on turn 6, as I have done with a significant other back in the day. But less of it. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in and sticking with us. Love to have yous. Be sure to check us out on the YouTube, on the Twitter. We don't use Twitter, really. And on any other social media list in the description. Next time out, as I said, is going to be at Imola. And it is going to be a fun run around. But until then, I have been Robert O'Brien. And this has been Raidillon TV, the only corner you need. Good evening, one and all.